Hey, so this is way too late, but I want to talk about the Quarry because I am in my second playthrough of this game and I love it. I really love this game and I kind of want to talk about it. You know, this is horror content that came out 2022. I might as well cover it, even if I'm a bit late and even if this isn't a movie. This is technically a video game. If you are not familiar with it, it's one of those video games much like Until Dawn or Heavy Rain, if you've heard of those games. I was about to say films. They are basically films that give you multiple choices. It's kind of like the choose your own adventure books if you read those as a kid. They are basically movies, but you get little moments where you get to choose what characters do. And it is a video game. There's a bit of walking around and all that kind of stuff, but mostly this is pretty much a film, a 10-hour film, really, with a bit of interaction. There's a lot of quick time events, but basically this is like a generic Friday the 13th kind of rip-off, homage, whatever you want to call it, but with some really, really good writing and some really good characters behind it as well. Like, there's a great sense of humor. There's some great emotional beats where you really care about these characters. And I just think that it's really cool how it branches out in the different kind of consequences that can happen through your choices. Now, that being said, I am on my second playthrough at the moment and I won't spoil anything, but so far I have been a bit disappointed by the lack of difference in the timeline, because like I feel like I wanted to avoid something that happened in my first playthrough and I did the opposite things and it kind of still led to the same situation happening, and I was like, so I didn't really impact that at all. That was going to happen either way, and that was kind of annoying to me. But I'm still very early on. I'm not really to the really deep horror part yet, so I am expecting things to branch out a bit more and some different characters to die and all that kind of stuff, because any of the main characters I'm pretty sure can die at like pretty much any point. And yeah, so on this playthrough I'm doing all the opposite decisions that I did on the first one, and I'm missing all the quick time events on purpose because it's just hilarious. They stumble all over the place and stuff, and I kind of enjoy that if I'm being honest. But as a first playthrough though, this is super enjoyable. I really love the story and it feels like some sort of just classic yet generic early 2000s horror film or something like that. You know, it's about teenagers who are just at some place and they start getting killed by something. And I don't know, it's just really up my alley and I have a lot of fun with it. I really hugely recommend this, actually, to be honest, if you're into this kind of thing. Now, I know a lot of people probably will play it and be like, what the fuck? You don't control the characters hardly ever. This is just a movie. This is just cutscenes. And people are going to be annoyed by that. And I kind of get that, you know. It is kind of misleading if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But if you've played Until Dawn, it plays very similarly to that. It's basically the same. It's kind of the same game, but with different characters and, you know, a different story and all that kind of stuff. But it feels very similar. And I loved Until Dawn. And, you know, it's been a number of years. What's it been? 6-7 years since that. So I was definitely happy to see the Quarry enter the shelves and everything. I bought this day one because, yeah, it's really cool. I got this on Xbox One. I don't know. I'm not like the biggest gamer in the world. I don't have the new one. I don't have a PS5. Whatever. Xbox One, if that matters to you. If it matters to you, something I probably should comment on is like the graphics and all that stuff. Things can be a bit dodgy. Things can look a bit finicky sometimes. Sometimes the character's hair, like, flickers a lot and it goes everywhere and it looks a little bit crazy, but it's really not that like immersion breaking. It's not really that big of a deal, but it is noticeable if I had to complain about something. But apart from that, it's really just a fun ride and it's fun making the choices. I played this with my wife. She's a big horror movie fan as well, so this is just a really good kind of couple game, I suppose. I would recommend it if you want to play this with somebody who's not the biggest gamer ever but might be more into movies and stuff like that. This was like perfect for me and my wife to play. It's just fun. I don't have too much else to say about it. I just like it a lot. It's just this like fun horror game. It's not that scary. It's more cheesy than scary, but like there's a lot of good moments in here with tension where you don't know if characters are going to live and die and everything. And yeah, like I said, I just think the characters really make this thing because they're all really pretty likable and all feel, you know, fairly realistic, but they're also very much archetypes. Like, you know, you've got the nerd girl, you've got the kind of frat bro guy and all that kind of stuff. You know, the characters that you would come to expect in this kind of thing. But then as you go on, they kind of have more depth than you first realize. I just think that they're really well written, and I think that the way that the story develops while it goes on is done really well, at least the way that I made it so in my first playthrough. Because again, you kind of affect that as the player. And that's something that I got to say as well, though. In my second playthrough, I have noticed that some characters have like heaps less chemistry, like heaps worse chemistry, however you would phrase that. And things feel a bit more awkward because this time I'm choosing all the opposite decisions, right, in the dialogue and stuff. And sometimes it's just like where it felt kind of romantic or it felt funny or it felt whatever in my first playthrough, this time it's like just awkward and they're being quiet and they're offending each other and all this kind of stuff. And it's just kind of funny. And it's cool having the different options and everything, and how obviously how much hard work went into this thing to make all of the different possibilities happen. And I appreciate it, and I think it's good. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. So thanks for watching. Do the things. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna go. Goodbye.